1 week before the wedding, my fiancé's white moonlight announced her pregnancy during a game of truth or dare at a party. The room erupted in laughter, but his face went pale. Later, he told me, it was a drunken accident. I'll marry you after the baby is born. I just smiled coldly. The gentle lights of the bridal shop shone on me. The girl in the mirror, dressed in a pristine white gown, looked like a delicate porcelain doll. Ms. Knight, this dress was practically made for you. The store assistant, Jennifer, clapped her hands, her eyes sparkling. Mr. Carter is going to be speechless when he sees you. I turned gently, watching the skirt billow like water. 3 months ago, on a beach in the Maldives, my fiancé, Damon Carter, knelt on one knee and said, "Darling, my greatest fortune in this life was catching a shooting star like you. I'll take this one." I smiled at the assistant, tucking a stray lock of hair behind my ear. My phone screen lit up. A message from Damon. "Honey, don't party too late tonight. We have the food tasting tomorrow." I replied with a nodding cat emoji. Tonight was my bachelorette party. My best friend, Stella, promised me an unforgettable night. Truth or dare, loser drinks. Stella raised her champagne glass, her cheeks already flushed. The private room was filled with my closest girlfriends and a few of Damon's college friends, including Olivia White, the one always wearing a white dress. My turn. Stella spun the bottle. It pointed straight at Olivia. Ms. White, truth or dare? Olivia swept her long hair back, a half smile on her face. Truth. Ooh, brave. Stella leaned in with a sly grin. I heard you had a crush on Damon in college. How do you feel watching him marry our Clara now? The room instantly fell silent. I tightened my grip on my wine glass. Olivia was Damon's classmate. She always hovered subtly around him at gatherings, but I never took her seriously. Olivia suddenly looked straight at me, her voice chillingly clear. Impregnant. It's Damon's. Pfft. Stella spat out her wine. Ha ha ha. Olivia, you'll say anything to win the game. The room burst into laughter. Someone banged the table, shouting, "That's commitment." I couldn't help but smile, too. The joke was clearly over the top, but when my eyes glanced at Damon, my heart plummeted. He wasn't laughing. His face was ghastly pale, as if he'd seen a ghost. The party ended abruptly in a strange atmosphere. After seeing the guests out, Damon pulled me back into the empty room. His palms were slick with cold sweat. "Clara," his throat bobbed. "Olivia is telling the truth." I stared at him, finding the face I had loved for 3 years utterly unfamiliar. Last month at the reunion, I blacked out. His voice dropped lower and lower. When I woke up, I picked up the remaining half glass of whiskey on the table and downed it. The alcohol burned my throat, but it couldn't extinguish the fire in my heart. Her background is difficult, and she doesn't want marriage, just the child. Damon sounded like he was reciting a prepared script, but I am the father, and I have to be responsible. I think I'll stay at her place during the week to help care for them, and come home on weekends. We have to cancel the wedding for now. After the baby is born. Smash. I shattered the wine glass. So, I heard my own voice terrifyingly calm. Are you informing me, or asking my opinion? Damon reached out frantically to grab my hand. Clara, you're always so understanding. I took a step back, avoiding his touch, and suddenly smiled. That's wonderful. You thought everything through. As I turned to leave, I heard Damon call my name behind me. I didn't look back, my fingernails digging deep into my palms. I stood on the balcony, the morning breeze clearing some of the alcohol fumes. My phone screen lit up with over a dozen unread messages and 5 missed calls from Damon. The last one read, "Darling, we need to talk properly. Things aren't what you think." I sneered, lightly tapping the screen. "Okay, come to my place at 7 tonight. Let's talk." After sending the message, I dialed Stella's number. The moment she picked up, a thunderous roar came through. "Clara, where the hell are you? I'm on my way to tear Damon apart." "Stella, calm down." My voice was so steady it surprised even me. "I need your help with something." Half an hour later, Stella burst into my apartment, carrying 2 bottles of red wine. "Are you planning to drink yourself senseless?" she demanded, staring at me. "No." I took the bottles and placed them on the coffee table. "This is for Damon." Stella looked at me as if I were possessed. "Are you crazy? You're giving him alcohol now." I calmly took a small vial from my bag, crushed 2 white sleeping pills, and sprinkled the powder into one of the wine bottles. "It's sleeping medication. Enough to make him sleep like a dead pig." "Holy shit." Stella gasped. "Are you trying to murder your fiancé?" "Don't be ridiculous." I rolled my eyes. "I just need him asleep so I can use his fingerprint to unlock his phone and set up location sharing on my backup device." Stella's eyes lit up. You're going to snoop. More than that. I pulled out a newly bought miniature voice recorder and a GPS tracker. I need to slip these into his briefcase and his car while he's asleep. Stella whistled. Clara, I never knew you were this terrifying. I checked my reflection. A cold smirk playing on my lips. That's because no one dared to cross me before. At exactly 7 o'clock, the doorbell rang. Damon stood outside, holding a bouquet of white roses, noticeable dark circles under his eyes. Clara, his voice was hoarse. Come in. I stepped aside to let him enter, displaying the perfect amount of fatigue and sadness on my face. Let's talk over a drink. Damon clearly hadn't expected me to be so calm. He sat awkwardly on the sofa, nervously rubbing his knees. Clara, I truly messed up. I drank too much that night. I poured 2 glasses of red wine, intentionally pushing the doctored one toward him. Have a drink first. I have things to say too. Damon accepted the glass gratefully and took a large gulp. I watched his throat bob, counting the time in my head. 20 minutes later, the pills began to take effect. Damon's eyes glazed over, and his words became slurred. Clara, I really love you. His body slumped, and he passed out on the sofa. I nudged him. Once I confirmed he was deeply asleep, I swiftly picked up his phone and unlocked it with his fingerprint. In his WeChat, most of his chat history with Olivia had been deleted, leaving only the recent few days. Doctor says the baby is healthy. When are you coming to see us? Damon, my morning sickness is awful. Can you bring me some sour plum juice? Are you coming over tonight? I left the light on for you. My stomach churned. I fought back the nausea and opened his photo album. In an encrypted folder, I found over a dozen photos of Olivia's pregnant belly. The latest one was taken yesterday, with Damon's hand resting on her slightly protruding abdomen. You bastard. I gritted my teeth, forwarding all the photos to my phone, then opened Damon's payment app. For the past month, there were daily transfer records to Olivia, ranging from a few hundred to a few thousand, with the memo nutrition fee. Having finished that, I texted Stella. Done. Come up. Stella and her computer science major brother, Finn, rushed in. Stella couldn't resist kicking the unconscious Damon. You dirtbag. Leave him, I instructed. Finn, help me recover all the deleted records from his phone and install a background program so future deleted chats are automatically backed up to the cloud. Finn gave me a thumbs up and started working on the phone. Meanwhile, I tucked the voice recorder into the lining of Damon's briefcase and stuck the GPS tracker to the undercarriage of his car. 2 hours later, everything was ready. Stella looked at the sleeping Damon and asked, "What now?" I picked up the remaining half bottle of doctored red wine and poured it all onto Damon's shirt collar. Take him home. The next morning, my phone received the first location notification. Damon's car was parked outside Olivia's apartment complex. I opened my laptop and synchronized the voice recorder content. Olivia's sugary voice came through. Damon, why do you smell like wine? Did you go see that woman last night? We just discussed some things. Damon sounded exhausted. Humph. Are you still reluctant to let her go? Olivia's voice suddenly grew tearful. I did something as shameful as getting pregnant out of wedlock for you. And you're still thinking about someone else. Stop it. Liv, you know I care most about you and the baby. The recording contained the sound of fabric rubbing. Then Damon's soft voice. There, don't cry. It's bad for the baby. I took the day off specifically to take you to the prenatal checkup. I switched off the recording, my fingers trembling uncontrollably. This was his accident. This was his promise to care for her during the week. Taking a few deep breaths, I regained my composure. Anger would only cloud my judgment. I needed more precise revenge. I opened my phone's photo album and saved the photos of Olivia's pregnant belly and the shopping receipts from yesterday into the revenge plan folder. The first step was complete. Next, I would show this despicable couple how truly terrifying Clara Knight's understanding could be. I stood in front of a shelf in a baby store, holding a light blue baby romper with the words "Daddy's Little Superman" printed on it. Olivia stood beside me, her face plastered with a falsely grateful smile. Clara, you are truly thoughtful. She rubbed her visibly swollen belly. I never expected you to offer to help me prepare for the baby. It's the least I can do. I smiled, placing the romper in the cart. After all, this child is related to Damon. Olivia's expression froze for a second. Then she quickly resumed her pitiful look. Damon and I were just momentarily careless. Clara, you don't hate me, do you? I pretended to rearrange the bottles on the shelf, hiding the coldness in my eyes. Why would I? Your family situation is unusual, and you want a child for companionship. I understand. Olivia suddenly grabbed my hand. I almost instinctively pulled away. Clara, you're so kind. Her eyes welled up. The doctor said the baby is very healthy. I'm 4 months along. And it's a boy. I suppressed the nausea and kept my hand still, my eyes landing on her ring finger. She was wearing a familiar ring. It was the women's band from the Tiffany set Damon and I had chosen last Valentine's Day. My matching band was tucked away in the back of my drawer. That ring. I feigned surprise. Olivia quickly hid her hand behind her back. Oh, I bought it myself. It's lovely. I casually changed the subject. By the way, Damon's company annual dinner is next week. Are you going? Olivia's eyes lit up, but she quickly masked her excitement. Can I go? Damon said those kinds of events aren't suitable. What's unsuitable about it? I smiled innocently. You're carrying Damon's child. It's nothing to hide. When checking out, I insisted on paying, and Olivia only feigned a refusal before accepting. Leaving the mall, I called her a cab. After watching her leave, I immediately checked Damon's GPS location. Sure enough, his car was heading toward Olivia's apartment. I called Stella. Stella, can you check Olivia's prenatal records? Focus on the conception date. What's up? Did you find something? She claims the baby is 4 months old, but her belly looks at least 5 months along. I got into my car. Also, she's wearing the ring Damon gave me. Stella whistled. That bitch has guts. Hold on. My cousin works at the maternity hospital. I'll have her check. I hung up and opened the tracking app on my phone. Damon's car had been parked outside Olivia's place for over 2 hours. I activated the synchronized voice recorder and heard a familiar, ambiguous sound, followed by Damon's panting. Liv, don't. It's not good for the baby. The doctor said we could after 3 months. Olivia's voice was sickeningly sweet. Don't you want me? I slammed the recorder shut, my chest heaving. This was his only responsible attitude. This was his promised weekday care. Taking a few more deep breaths, I calmed down. Anger only impairs judgment. I needed more precise revenge. I opened my photo album and saved the photos of Olivia's pregnant belly and the shopping receipts from today into the revenge plan folder. On the night of the annual dinner, I wore a fitted red gown, 10-centimeter heels, and my hair was styled into an elegant chignon. Damon froze when he saw me, his eyes flashing with surprise and regret. Clara, you look beautiful today, he stammered. I smiled faintly, reaching up to adjust his tie. You look handsome too. My finger brushed his throat, and I felt him clearly swallow. Damon's company dinner was held in the ballroom of a 5-star hotel. As I walked in, arm linked with his, we drew many admiring glances. Damon's immediate superior, Mr. King, came over specifically to greet us. Mr. Carter, your fiancé is even prettier than in photos. No wonder you've kept her hidden so well. I lowered my head, feigning shyness, but my peripheral vision caught a familiar flash of white at the ballroom entrance. Olivia had arrived, wearing a loose white dress, her deliberately emphasized pregnant belly conspicuously visible in the crowd. Damon, she stood timidly not far away, her voice just loud enough for those nearby to hear. I don't feel well. Damon's face instantly paled. He glanced at me frantically. I played up my surprise. Oh dear, Olivia is here. Damon, hurry and see what's wrong with her. The surrounding colleagues were already starting to whisper. Damon was caught between a rock and a hard place. He could only walk over and ask quietly, why did you come? Olivia clutched her forehead, her voice weak. I suddenly felt dizzy, and I remembered you were here, so I took a taxi. I quickly walked over, expressing concern. Is it low blood sugar? That's common during pregnancy. I motioned to a waiter. Please bring this lady a glass of warm milk and some pastries. Olivia hadn't expected me to be so kind and looked momentarily confused. I seized the chance to link arms with her, speaking just loud enough for the nearby crowd to hear. Don't stand there. I'll help you to a seat. You're carrying Damon's child, so we can't risk anything happening. The sentence exploded in the crowd like a bomb. I felt Damon's body instantly stiffen, and Olivia's eyes widened. The colleagues' whispers turned into obvious gasps and chatter. What? Damon got her pregnant. Isn't that his fiancé? Oh my god, he seemed so proper. Damon's face went from pale to green, cold sweat beading on his forehead. Olivia quickly recovered, touching her belly with a wronged expression. Clara, I didn't mean to disrupt your evening. I patted her hand, my smile gentle. Nonsense. Your health comes first. I turned to Damon. You should take Olivia home. I'll explain things to Mr. King. Damon opened his mouth, but under the scrutiny of the stunned crowd, he could only sheepishly take Olivia's arm and leave the venue. After they left, I became the center of attention. Mrs. King, Mr. King's wife, took my hand and sighed. My dear girl, you are too kind. If it were me, I'd tear that mistress to shreds. I lowered my head, pretending to wipe away non-existent tears. ma'am. I just don't want to make things difficult for Damon. This response successfully won me the sympathy and support of every woman present. When I left, at least 10 colleagues added me on WeChat, offering to introduce me to better men. Back home, I opened my laptop and archived all the photos and recordings from the night. My phone buzzed. A message from Damon. Clara, I'm so sorry about tonight. I didn't reply. Instead, I checked the tracking app. Damon's car was still parked outside Olivia's apartment. In the synchronized recording, I heard Olivia sobbing in Damon's attempt at comfort. Don't cry. I took you home, didn't I? Your fiancé did it on purpose. She deliberately said those things in front of everyone. Olivia screamed hysterically. Now everyone knows I'm the mistress. Liv, calm down. It's bad for the baby. Baby, that's all you care about. Olivia's voice suddenly turned sinister. Damon, I'm warning you. If you marry her, I'll kill myself and the baby. The recording ended with Damon's panicked attempts to soothe her. I turned off the recording, a cold smirk playing on my lips. The show was just beginning. Olivia's accidental pregnancy was going to be much more of a surprise than she anticipated. Stella threw a folder onto my coffee table, her eyes wide with shock. You won't believe what I found. I put down my coffee cup and opened the file. Labeled maternity hospital. Olivia's prenatal records indicated that her actual conception date was a full 6 weeks earlier than she claimed. That's impossible. My fingers trembled slightly. Damon said the accident happened 3 months ago at the college reunion. That was December 7th, Stella said excitedly, pointing to the checkup date. But the ultrasound shows she was already 6 weeks pregnant then. The baby was conceived in mid-October. I quickly pulled up my phone calendar. Damon was on a business trip in New York during mid-October. I remembered clearly because he missed my birthday and returned with a Cartier bracelet as an apology. So, I narrowed my eyes. Either the baby isn't Damon's, or they were already hooking up months earlier. Stella enthusiastically slapped the table. And look at this. She flipped to the last page of the file. Blood type. Olivia is AB, and Damon is O type. I stated instantly. We checked together during college physicals. Now that's interesting. Stella pointed to the fetal blood type prediction. An AB mother and an O type father cannot produce an AB type child, but the hospital predicts the fetus could be AB type. I jumped up, pacing the living room. All the clues assembled in my mind like pieces of a puzzle. Olivia's deliberately exaggerated pregnancy, the conception date that didn't match Damon's story, the impossible blood type combination. I need more evidence. I grabbed my car keys. Olivia's ex-boyfriend, Chris, can you still contact him? 2 hours later, I met Chris in a coffee shop. He was a reserved-looking programmer. When he heard Olivia's name, a look of disgust flashed across his face. Is she using the pregnancy trick again? Chris sneered. That's how she forced me to break up with my ex. My heart skipped a beat. What do you mean? In our junior year, Olivia knew I had a long-distance girlfriend. She purposely got me drunk. And then, Chris gripped his coffee cup tightly. 2 months later, she told me she was pregnant. I almost broke up with my girlfriend. But guess what? A checkup proved she wasn't pregnant at all. Why would she do that? Pathological possessiveness, I guess. Chris shook his head. She specifically targets men in relationships, enjoying the thrill of breaking up couples. I heard she used that trick to destroy a few more relationships. I didn't think she'd actually go through with it this time. I thanked Chris. Just as I left the coffee shop, I received a call from Damon's mother, saying she and his father had suddenly come to the city and wanted to see me. Damon's parents had always been fond of me, especially his mother, who already treated me like her daughter-in-law. When I walked into their hotel suite, Damon's mother hugged me with tear-filled eyes. Clara, is this true? Damon, Mrs. Carter choked up, unable to continue. Mr. Carter slammed a stack of photos onto the table, his face ashen. They were the intimate photos of Damon and Olivia that I had anonymously mailed to them. Mom, Dad, I lowered my head, my voice trembling perfectly. I didn't want to cause trouble for you. Silly girl. Mrs. Carter pulled me down next to her. Damon did this awful thing. And you're still thinking of him. She turned to her husband. Honey, call that bastard right now. Mr. Carter dialed the phone, his voice sharp. Get over to the hotel immediately. Half an hour later, Damon rushed in frantically, seeing me with his parents. His face instantly turned pale. Dad, Mom, why are you? Slap. Mr. Carter struck him across the face. We don't raise irresponsible sons in the Carter family. Damon clutched his face, his eyes pleading with me. I feigned distress and looked away. Mrs. Carter felt even more sympathetic. Clara is still defending you, and you go and get someone else pregnant. Dad, Mom, It's not what you think. Damon stumbled over his words. I was drunk that night. I genuinely don't remember anything. Then what about this, Mr. Carter threw another photo onto the tablia selfie of Olivia wearing the Tiffany ring. You even gave her the wedding ring. Damon's eyes widened. I didn't give her that. That was Clara's. Enough, Mrs. Carter cut him off. Cut ties with that Olivia immediately and apologize properly to Clara. I timely let out a soft sob. Mom, don't force him. Olivia said if she doesn't have Damon, she'll take the baby. What? Both of Damon's parents gasped simultaneously. Damon fell to his knees with a thud. Clara, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry, I'll handle everything. Watching the drama unfold, I smirked inwardly. This was only the beginning. That night, Olivia updated her social media. She posted a silhouette of an instant family clearly showing Damon leaning his head against her pregnant belly with the caption, "Happiness is that simple." I zoomed in on the photo, noticing the deliberate blurring of the calendar on the bedside table. After image processing, the date subtly showed October of last year. This was the crucial evidence I needed. I logged into a dummy account and left a seemingly ordinary blessing in the comments. Congrats. Looks like you're 5 months along. Due date in July. Olivia quickly replied, thanks for asking. Due date is late June. I screenshotted the exchange. Based on medical knowledge, a late June due date meant conception occurred in late September or early October, a full 2 months earlier than Damon's claimed December date. Just as I was compiling the evidence, my phone buzzed. It was Damon. Clara. His voice was hoarse. Can we talk? Mom and Dad said they're going to revoke my inheritance. I curled my lips. Fine. Tomorrow noon. Same place. After hanging up, I opened my laptop and organized all the evidence I had collected. Prenatal records, timeline analysis, Chris testimony, photo metadata, a detailed PDF, the title, The Truth Behind MS, Olivia White's Accidental Pregnancy. I saved the file, then checked Olivia's profile again. She had just posted another update. True love doesn't need marriage certification. I smiled coldly and opened the comment box, typing, does it need lies a certification? I thought better of it and deleted the comment. It wasn't the right time. I needed to wait for the perfect moment to ensure the curtain fell at the climax. I sat in the corner of the coffee shop, gently tapping the table. Damon was 15 minutes late, which was rare for him. When the glass door finally opened, I barely recognized him. Scruffy beard, deep dark circles under his eyes, his shirt wrinkled as if he'd slept in it for 3 days. Clara. He slumped into the chair opposite me, his voice rough. I've been going crazy these past few days. I slid a cup of Americano toward him. Have some coffee. My eyes went to his ring finger. Our engagement ring was gone. Damon followed my gaze, quickly explaining, "Two just took it off temporarily. Olivia throws a fit when she sees it." I understand. I sipped my latte. You wanted to talk. Mom and Dad are going to revoke my inheritance. He clutched his head. And the company, Mr. King talked to me, saying my personal behavior is hurting my promotion chances. I watched his performance, sneering inwardly. The scene at the annual dinner had been more effective than anticipated. Clara. He suddenly grabbed my hand. I was wrong. What happened with Olivia was just a drunken mistake. I love you. I fought the urge to pull away. What about the baby? His eyes darted around. I can provide child support, but I won't stay with her. Clara, can we start over? The wedding can go ahead. I almost laughed out loud. This selfish man was willing to abandon his own flesh and blood for the sake of his career and inheritance. Let me think about it. I feigned hesitation. But, are you sure the baby is yours? Damon's head snapped up. What do you mean? Nothing, just that I heard Olivia before. I intentionally trailed off. Never mind. Damon's face changed. Heard what? Clara, you have to tell me. I sighed, pulled out my phone, and showed him the photo of Olivia and Chris. Her ex-boyfriend said she used the fake pregnancy trick to break up other couples before. Damon stared at the photo, his expression moving from shock to suspicion, then fury. That bitch. Don't say that. I advised softly. The child is innocent. After all, Damon's voice trembled, if the baby isn't mine, will you come back to me? I looked directly into his eyes. Of course. He desperately squeezed my hand. Clara, I swear, if you forgive me, I'll cut all ties with Olivia immediately. I smiled and gently pulled my hand away. Go get a paternity test. After Damon left, I immediately texted Stella. The fish took the bait. 3 days later, I attended Damon's company charity gala as his fiancé. This time, I chose a dignified, deep green gown. As I entered, arm linked with the newly polished Damon, we garnered many surprised glances. Did the manager and his fiancé make up? Lydia from marketing whispered. I smiled modestly. Our relationship has always been very good. Damon dutifully hugged my waist, whispering in my ear. The paternity test is scheduled for next Wednesday. I feigned shyness and lowered my head, catching sight of a commotion near the entrance. Olivia, heavily pregnant, had barged in, her face ghostly pale. Damon, her shrill voice cut through the hall. What do you mean by this? The room instantly fell silent. Damon's body stiffened. I felt cold sweat seep into my dress from his palm. Olivia staggered toward us, waving a piece of paper. You actually asked for a paternity test. She turned on me, her eyes blazing. Did you put him up to this? I took a half step back, showing the perfect amount of panic. Ms. White, calm down. It's bad for the baby, bitch. Olivia raised her hand to slap me, but Damon grabbed her arm instantly. Are you crazy? Damon roared. This is a public event. Olivia suddenly clutched her stomach, bending over in pain. Ah, it hurts. Blood stained the inside of her thighs, spreading a dark red stain on the carpet. The crowd gasped. Liv, Damon panicked, scooping her up and rushing out. I stood my ground, calmly dialing 911, and then followed them. Before the ambulance arrived, Olivia was writhing in too much pain to speak. She only clung desperately to Damon's collar, her eyes filled with terror. Clara, Damon looked at me, helpless. Go, I said calmly. She needs you. Watching the ambulance drive away, I pulled out my phone and called Dr. Evans at the maternity hospital. Dr. Evans, I have a few more questions about Olivia's prenatal records. The next morning, I arrived at the hospital with a bouquet of lilies. Outside Olivia's room, Damon was slumped on a bench, his eyes bloodshot. The baby is gone, he rasped. I sat down and gently hugged him. Don't be too sad. Damon suddenly grabbed my shoulders. Clara, the test results came back. The child isn't mine. I feigned shock. How could that be? The doctor said the fetus had O-type blood. Damon shook his head in pain. O-type, and Olivia is AB. We couldn't have had a child with O-type blood. I smirked internally. Olivia had lied about the blood type too. Is she awake? I asked. Damon shook his head. The doctor said she has a history of habitual miscarriage. This isn't the first time. Just then, a harrowing scream erupted from the room. When Damon and I rushed in, Olivia was frantically tearing out her 4 lines. Get out. Everyone get out. She grabbed the water glass from the bedside table and hurled it at Damon. Liar. You're all liars. Nurses restrained her, and a doctor rushed in to administer a sedative. In the chaos, I noticed Olivia's phone screen light up. A new message. Liv, I thought it over. Am willing to accept the child. I quietly snapped a photo and left the room. In the hallway, Damon was crouched on the floor, weeping. She's been lying to me all along. The morning sickness, the kicks, it was all an act. I gently rubbed his back, saying nothing. It wasn't time to spring the trap yet. I needed to wait for Olivia to recover and confess everything herself. 3 days later, I went to the hospital alone. Olivia leaned against the headboard, her face pale as a sheet, her once proud abdomen now flat. Came here to laugh at me, she sneered. I set the fruit basket down and sat by her bed. I came to tell you that Damon knows the baby isn't his. A flash of panic crossed Olivia's eyes, but she quickly reverted to coldness. So what? You know what? I opened my phone and played a section of the recording. Damon saying, "The child isn't mine." Olivia's face changed. What are you trying to do? Tell me the truth. I looked directly at her. Who were you with in October? Why did you lie to Damon? Olivia suddenly laughed. A chilling, unnerving sound. You think you've won. She leaned closer. You're right. The baby wasn't Damon's. It was Mr. King's. My heart skipped a beat. Mr. King, Damon's boss. After that department dinner, Mr. King drove me home. Olivia looked at my shocked expression triumphantly. He freaked out when he learned I was pregnant and promised me hush money. So you targeted Damon as a scapegoat. Who told him he was so easy to fool? Olivia said contemptuously. He didn't even remember whether he touched me when he was drunk. She leaned closer. Clara, you think Damon really loves you? He only stayed with you because of your good family background and social standing. I stood up, putting my phone away. How much do you think this recording is worth to Damon? Olivia finally panicked. You can't tell him. Why not? I smiled. Didn't you say he doesn't love me? Stepping out of the hospital, the sunlight hurt my eyes. 3 months of pretense, countless sleepless nights, had finally led to this moment of truth. But strangely, I didn't feel the catharsis I expected, only profound exhaustion and emptiness. My phone buzzed. A message from Damon. Clara, I understand everything now. The person I truly love is you. Can we start over? I looked at the message and suddenly laughed. As I laughed, tears finally streamed down my face. How ironic. In this whole farce, the most ridiculous person was me. I had genuinely loved a man like that. I stared at the dress sent by the bridal shop, my fingers tracing the delicate embroidery. It was originally for my wedding with Damon, but now it had a new purpose. Are you sure about this? Stella leaned against the doorway, swirling a glass of champagne. I say, just throw the evidence in their faces and be done with it. That would be too easy for them. I picked up the sample invitation. The gold lettering shimmered under the light. Next Saturday is Damon's birthday. In preparing an unforgettable party for him, Stella leaned over to look at my guest list, whistling. Wow, you're hitting his entire social circle, colleagues, classmates, relatives, even his college advisor. Of course. I smiled and opened my laptop, pulling up the event schedule. I'd booked the banquet hall at the Hyatt, where his company usually holds events. I even specifically chose a backdrop similar to the one in Olivia's family silhouette photo. Stella flipped through the materials I had prepared, then suddenly widened her eyes. Wait, this DNA report, when did you get this done? When Olivia miscarried, I had Dr. Evans help me retain a sample. I opened my phone album. It was compared to a blood sample Damon left during a previous hospital checkup. Ironclad evidence. What about this? Stella pointed to an audio file. I clicked play. Olivia's voice clearly stated, "It's Mr. King's baby. He promised me $500,000 in hush money." No way. Stella nearly dropped her champagne. Damon's boss. This is huge. It gets better. I opened a bank statement file. These are Olivia's transfer records from the past 3 months. Every 5th of the month, a fixed deposit of $20,000 appears, the sender being Mr. King's wife. Stella covered her mouth. So Mrs. King knew too, and paid Olivia to keep quiet. Smart. I closed the laptop. Now do you understand why I'm hosting this birthday party? Over the next few days, I acted like the most devoted fiancé, personally selecting the menu, testing the cake, and confirming the guest list. Damon was so moved he nearly cried, sending me flowers and gifts daily, completely unaware that every bouquet went straight into the trash. The day before the party, I received a call from an unknown number. Is this Ms. Knight? A timid female voice asked. I'm Jessica Zhou, Olivia's college roommate. I immediately paid attention. Hello, how can I help you? I saw your post on social media. Tomorrow is Damon's birthday party. She paused. I have something for you. About Olivia. 2 hours later, I met Jessica at a coffee shop. The bespectacled girl nervously handed me a USB drive. This contains backups of Olivia's chats. She used this trick to break up 3 couples in college. I plugged it into my laptop. The screen displayed rows of sickening conversations. Successfully got the physics major drunk today. His girlfriend completely lost it when she saw the photo of us in bed. LOL, that chemistry nerd is so easy to trick. I told him I was pregnant, and he believed it. Even though we didn't do anything, Damon was the hardest target. Engaged and stable. But breaking up couples like that gives me the greatest satisfaction. The latest message was from a month ago. I went too far this time. I'm actually pregnant, but it's fine. Mr. King agreed to pay me, and that idiot Damon still thinks it's his kid. Jessica bit her lip. I was too scared to say anything, until I saw your invitation. I thought you should know the truth. Thank you. I squeezed her trembling hand. Will you attend the party tomorrow? Jessica shook her head. I can't face Olivia, but I'll be supporting you mentally. That night, I stayed up all night editing all the evidence into a 15-minute video. At 5 a.m., I hit save and titled the video, "To My Beloved Fiancé." On the day of the birthday party, I wore a fiery red gown, high heels, and bright red lipstick. Damon was visibly stunned when he saw me. "Clara, you look," he stammered, "so beautiful." I smiled, handing him a gift box. "Happy birthday, darling." Inside was an expensive watch bought with the credit card he had given me. Damon was so touched he tried to hug me. I subtly turned away. The guests have arrived. Let's go in. The banquet hall was lavishly decorated. Over 50 guests were already seated. I noticed Olivia had also come, wearing a loose white dress, sitting in a corner. It seemed her post-miscarriage frailty was an act. Mr. King, Damon's boss, sat at the main table with his wife. He looked uncomfortable when he saw me. I raised my glass to him and smiled. He quickly lowered his head and drank. Halfway through the party, the MC announced, "Now, let's welcome Mr. Carter's fiancée, Ms. Clara Knight, for a toast." Amidst applause, I stepped onto the stage and adjusted the microphone. "Thank you all for coming to Damon's birthday celebration. My voice was soft. Before we cut the cake, I prepared a small video to document our sweet moments. I clicked the play button. The giant screen began to show the surprise I had meticulously created. The first scene was an intimate photo of Damon and Olivia in bed, timestamped in October last year, long before Damon's claimed drunken accident. This was followed by Olivia's chat history with Chris, proving her history of using pregnancy to break up couples. "What is this?" Damon jumped up, his face ashen. The video continued. Olivia and Mr. King's flirtatious messages. The comparison of her prenatal report timeline to Damon's business trip dates. The DNA test results. Ending with the explosive audio clip. "It's Mr. King's baby. He promised me $500,000 in hush money." The banquet hall erupted. Mr. King threw his glass, and his wife screamed and lunged at Olivia. Damon stood rooted to the spot. All color drained from his face. Olivia rushed the stage like a maniac to shut off the video. I was prepared. I sidestepped, causing her to miss me completely. She turned to grab me, but I twisted her wrist in a practiced defensive move, making her fall painfully to her knees, a self-defense technique I'd practiced with Stella for a month. "Clara, you bitch," Olivia screamed hysterically. I looked down at her. "So, the game of breaking up marriages isn't fun anymore." The area below the stage was pure chaos. Mrs. King was pulling Mr. King's hair and slapping him. Colleagues were filming the scene frantically. Damon's college advisor was shaking his head and walking out. Damon finally snapped out of his daze, rushing onto the stage and grabbing my shoulders. "Clara, let me explain." "Explain what?" I coldly shrugged him off. "Explain how Olivia played you for a fool. Or explain how you plan to make me the unwitting dupe for your career prospects." I walked to the sound desk and pulled up a new audio file. Damon's voice from a few days ago. "Clara, the person I truly love is you. Can we start over?" After the clip played, I spoke into the microphone. On a related note, he said the exact same thing to Olivia. "Do you want me to play that for everyone too?" Damon's face turned to ash, his legs gave out, and he collapsed onto his knees. I took the microphone and walked toward the exit under the gaze of every guest. As I passed Mr. King's table, I stopped. "By the way, Mr. King, your company's HR will soon receive a formal complaint regarding workplace sexual harassment." Stepping out of the hotel, the early summer sun felt warm on my face. Stella ran up from the parking lot, hugging me excitedly. "That was so satisfying. You didn't see the end." Olivia and Mrs. King started fighting, and Damon tried to break it up and got soaked in red wine. I laughed and tossed her the car keys. "Let's go." "My treat. We're drinking till we drop tonight." As the car drove away from the hotel, I saw Damon stumbling out, his tie askew, his suit stained with wine. In the rearview mirror, his figure grew smaller and smaller, finally disappearing around the corner, as if he had never been in my life at all. Stella hadn't even parked the car when my phone exploded. Notifications from WeChat, Twitter, and text messages popped up constantly. "Holy cow, Clara." Stella pulled over and showed me her phone. "You're trending in the city." The hashtag Hyatt birthday party scandal was #1 on the local trending list. Tapping it open, I saw video clips shot by guests at the event, already shared tens of thousands of times. The hottest one was Mrs. King pulling Olivia's hair and slapping her, captioned "Most satisfying wife versus mistress showdown of the year." I turned off the screen and threw the phone into my bag. As expected. "What do you think Damon is doing now?" Stella smirked. "Starting the car again. My friend says he disappeared after leaving the hotel. The company group chat is blowing up." I rolled down the window, letting the night breeze cool my face. "It doesn't matter anymore." Stella took me to a secluded Japanese izakaya, just as we ordered sake. My phone rang. It was Damon's mother. "Hello, Mom," I answered, my voice calm. "Clara." Mrs. Carter's voice was choked with tears. "Damon just came home and told us everything." "I'm so sorry, dear." I gently swirled my sake cup. "Mom, it's not your fault. That animal." Mr. Carter's angry shout was audible in the background. "He's no son of mine." Mrs. Carter continued sobbing. "Clara, will you still come and see us sometimes?" My heart softened. Damon's parents had always treated me like their own. They were the ones I regretted hurting the most in this relationship. "Yes, I will come visit you and Dad when I can." I hung up. Stella had already poured my drink. A toast to the most badass Clara. As we clinked glasses, my phone rang again. This time, it was an unknown number. "Hello, is this MS Knight?" A calm female voice asked. "I'm Lydia Sue, editor-in-chief of Urban Woman magazine. Can I schedule an interview with you?" I gripped my glass. "MS Sue, hello, can we meet?" Her voice was unusually steady. I have some things you might find interesting. Half an hour later, Lydia Sue appeared at the izakaya door. She was younger than I expected, dressed in a tasteful beige suit. If not for her slightly red eyes and messy hairstyle, you wouldn't know she had just been through a chaotic scene. Thank you for meeting a stranger. She sat opposite me and immediately pushed a manila envelope toward me. Take a look at this first. I opened the envelope, which contained a stack of bank statements and several photos. The photos showed Olivia intimately talking with a middle-aged man in a restaurant, not Mr. King, and certainly not Damon. What is this? My husband was just one of Olivia's targets. Lydia sneered. The gentleman in the photos is Mr. Smith from Hingxing Pharma. He was another potential father of the child. I skimmed the bank statements, discovering Olivia had received large transfers from at least 4 different accounts over the past 6 months. I hired someone to investigate her for 2 months. Lydia took a sip of tea. She was blackmailing at least 3 men simultaneously, convincing each one the baby was his. Stella's eyes widened. A professional scammer. More than that. Lydia pulled a USB drive from her bag. This contains her chat history with her friend, boasting about how she uses pregnancy to extort money from men. I've handed it over to my lawyer. Extortion charges should be enough to send her away. I took the USB, complex emotions swirling within me. Olivia was far more unscrupulous than I imagined, and Damon was just one of her pawns. Ms. Knight, I came to you because... Lydia suddenly faltered. I saw in the banquet video that you mentioned reporting to the company. I nodded. Workplace sexual harassment. Could you please delay that? Lydia clasped her hands tightly. My husband made a terrible mistake. But we have 2 children in international school. I looked at the plea in this proud woman's eyes and recalled Mrs. Carter's choked voice on the phone. When these men misbehaved, did they ever consider the innocent people they would hurt? I can delay for 1 week, I finally said, but I won't withdraw the complaint. Lydia nodded in relief. That's enough. In 1 week, my children and I will fly to Australia to start a new life. She stood up and handed me a business card. This is my lawyer. If you decide to sue Olivia, he will assist you fully. After seeing Lydia off, Stella and I silently finished the entire bottle of sake. The alcohol brought on a sudden wave of 3 months' exhaustion. Clara, Stella looked at me worriedly. Are you okay? I stared at the swirling wine in my glass and suddenly laughed. You know what? The funniest thing is, I actually feel a little sorry for Damon. Huh. Stella dramatically slapped the table. That jerk deserves it. Yes, he does. I finished the last sip of wine. But being played for a fool by a woman like Olivia, that's pretty tragic too. It was past midnight when I got home. I took a hot shower and lay in bed scrolling through my phone. The banquet video had gone viral, with countless angles and comments flooding the internet. Damon's colleagues reported he had been suspended pending investigation. Olivia's college classmates jumped in to recount her past glorious deeds. Some even dug up Mr. King's past indiscretions, calling for an industry ban. My private messages were full supportive messages, interview requests, and even women who had suffered similar betrayals reaching out to share their stories. One message caught my eye. Ms. Knight, I'm Jessica's roommate. Olivia once forced a male student to drop out of college with a fake pregnancy in sophomore year. I have proof. Please contact me if you need it. I saved the message. Just as I was about to turn off my phone, a new WeChat notification popped up. It was Damon. Clara, can we meet? Just 10 minutes. I stared at the message for a few seconds and instantly blocked him. As I was about to put the phone down, another friend request popped up. It's Damon. Please, just listen to me. I turned off the phone, extinguished the light, and lay down. In the darkness, 3 months of memories flashed: the excitement at the bridal shop, the heartbreak at the party, the sleepless nights gathering evidence, the explosion at the birthday dinner. Tears finally flowed uncontrollably, not for Damon, but for the self who had once truly loved him. The next afternoon, I was awakened by the doorbell. I opened the door to find Stella holding 2 large bags of takeout. I knew you'd still be asleep, she squeezed in. Look at Twitter. Olivia is on the police report. I rubbed my eyes and opened my phone. The local police official account had posted a brief announcement. Olivia White, female, 26, has been legally detained on suspicion of extortion. Serves her right. Stella excitedly unwrapped the takeout. Lydia Sue moves fast. I scrolled through the related news, seeing that the media had already uncovered Olivia's history as a professional mistress. The men she had scammed were coming forward with evidence. One even provided a recording of her demanding abortion fees. Damon's company also issued a statement. Stella pointed at the screen. Mr. King has been suspended indefinitely pending investigation. Hey, they didn't mention Damon. I checked the announcement closely. Indeed, Damon's name was absent. As I wondered why, the doorbell rang again. I looked through the peephole and saw Damon's father standing outside, his face grave. Dad. I opened the door, surprised to see Mrs. Carter behind him, her eyes swollen like peaches. Clara, Mrs. Carter cried when she saw me. Can we come in? I let them enter. Mr. Carter helped his wife sit down but remained standing, his posture rigid. Clara, I came here today, first to apologize, and second, Mr. Carter pulled a folder from his briefcase, to give you this. I opened the folder. Inside was a stock transfer agreement, 15 of the Carter family's corporate shares, transferred entirely into my name. This. I looked up in shock. I can't accept this. You must take it. Mr. Carter's voice was rough. It's what Damon owes you. He flew to Canada this morning. Mrs. Carter sobbed in explanation. His company gave him an ultimatum, either resign voluntarily or be fired. He was too ashamed to face anyone. I silently closed the file and pushed it back. Mom, Dad, I understand your feelings, but I truly cannot take this. Clara, Mrs. Carter grabbed my hand. Please, consider it. Consider it my humble apology. Looking at the pleading eyes of the elderly couple, I finally sighed. How about this? I'll hold the shares temporarily. Once things settle down, we can. Before I could finish, my phone rang. An unfamiliar number. Hello, is this Ms. Clara Knight? A man's voice asked politely. I'm David Sue, editor-in-chief of the Metropolitan Woman magazine. Could I arrange a formal interview with you? I paused. About how modern women can defend their rights. His voice held a hint of amusement. Your birthday party has become a nationwide sensation. I looked at Damon's parents. They recognized the cue and stood up. Clara, we'll leave you now. Please think about what we discussed. After seeing them off, I returned to the call. Editor Sue, I need to consider it. Of course, David Sue spoke gracefully, but you might be more interested in this proposition. Our magazine is launching a new relationship column, and we'd like to invite you to be our special contributor. I raised an eyebrow. Why me? Because, he chuckled lightly, you used the most elegant method to deliver the most devastating lesson to a cheating man. That's a lesson all women need to learn. I hung up and stood on the balcony, taking a deep breath. The early summer sun was warm but not scorching. In the garden below, a cluster of wild roses bloomed vividly. Stella hugged me from behind. A new life has begun, darling. I smiled and nodded. Yes, it was over, and it had begun.